Hello, my name is Cesar Carballo, and in this video, I'll be discussing the ethical upsides and downsides of widespread age verification. As laws are getting stricter across the internet, many companies wish to reduce as much liability as possible. In order to accomplish this, several organizations, both large and small, have begun to implement age verification methods across their platforms. The most common methods for age verification include to upload a photo of yourself, which will then be scanned through an algorithm in order to determine your approximate age, or to upload a photo of your ID or driver's license, which will then scan for its birth for your listed date of birth in order to ensure that your age fits requirements. However, rather than this being done to the companies themselves, many outsource this task to third-party organizations. These companies have become more prolific in recent years, seeing the greater use of these verification methods. It'll be these companies for whom I'll test my ethical standard on. Now, what is this ethical standard? An action or behavior is ethical if it brings a benefit or good to society, while an action or behavior is unethical if it's detrimental or bad for society. However, ethics is never usually so black and white, especially for these large companies. A secondary standard slash definition I have said as well is, is that an organization is overall ethical if the benefits that the organization brings outweigh its negatives, and it is unethical if its negatives outweigh its positives. Now, on to testing these third-party organizations through this ethical standard, beginning with the benefits. One benefit these companies do bring in their practices is protecting children from inappropriate media. One of the most common arguments for age verification is that it can ensure children are unable to view content or media that they otherwise should not be able to see at their age. With phones and laptops becoming more common in both not only the household, but also in schools, it is becoming easier and easier for children to have access to all aspects of the internet, whether good or bad. Of course, as children, their eyes should only be exposed to more appropriate sites of the internet. Age verification allows for this goal to be accomplished, as it can act as sort of a barrier between the two sides, where children, as whose age is verified to be below requirements, will be unable to cross over to the inappropriate side, only being allowed to view topics that are associated that they should be allowed to see, while all others that utilize these sites and platforms are verified to be of age are allowed to access topics and contents that they will be allowed to see no matter what. As the companies are in charge of these verification methods, this benefit is a direct consequence of their practices. A second benefit that comes from age verification is the prevention of bots and scam accounts in these organizations and their platforms. I am pretty sure we have all seen our fair share of accounts that are obviously not run by a real person. And almost always, they all do the same thing, either promote a scam or suspicious company slash practice. Age verification will ensure that every account is tied to a real photo or ID, and by consequence, a real person. If we verify that everyone on a platform is real, this can filter out most, if not all, bot and scam accounts, while all those left over should be much more obvious than normal. However, there are always negatives. One unethical side to these companies is their vulnerability to data breaches. As the internet continues to grow, there is a constant battle in the space seen between hackers and security firms. Method used by hackers continue to advance, and security measures are forced to develop just as fast, if not faster, in order to fight against these countermeasures. However, unfortunately, these developments simply do not happen quickly enough, as seen with the recent Canvas data breach. This can expose an entire database to these malicious companies, endangering all individuals that utilize these platforms. If organizations as large as Canvas can fall victim to these hackers, imagine these verification firms, which are usually much smaller in size or scale, are just as, if not more vulnerable. In addition, as mentioned above, common verification methods include the uploading of your face and ID to the original verification company, which means that if these hackers accomplish in their task, they will have access to these two pieces of extremely sensitive personal information, which can easily be used against all users that have verified themselves in the original organization. A second unethical side of the practice is its inconsistency in its methods and how this can lead to many concerns by users. Many companies that have already implemented age verification in the name of safety in order to separate age groups. One example is the game Roblox and its parent company. However, there has been many video examples as written examples of individuals, both young and old, bypassing current verification methods, either purposely making themselves look older or younger. On the flip side, as many of these utilizes algorithms, there simply can just be mistakes where these algorithms put individuals in incorrect age groups, making them seem either younger or older than they already are. This can prevent individuals of age from viewing content that they would otherwise been allowed to view if these age verification methods would not have been in place, and can actually serve as a way for children to be exposed to the possibly inappropriate media that they would not have been exposed to otherwise. This serves as a major hit to the main benefit to society these systems bring to the first place, counteracting one of the established ethical benefits. In addition, this can cause people to lose trust in these methods, further growing the distrust many have in these systems, as many do not feel comfortable giving such personal information to an unknown organization, especially their IDs and driver's license, to is to just use a site that they were already using without issue previously, especially as we are not aware how these companies utilize these sensitive personal information, and if it's truly just being stored within the company. In conclusion, following my pre-established ethical standard in its current state, I do believe the ethical benefits from widespread age verification do not outweigh the negatives the system currently has. Due to this, I will say as a whole that widespread age verification and in turn these verification firms are unethical, as while it could serve as a way to protect the vulnerable in our society while unaffecting others, quite simply in its current state, the potential harm it can cause to all users, both the normal and average user of these platforms and the vulnerable are simply put at way too great of a risk. Thank you for the time and listening to this presentation.